What's up, YouTube? Here's a little backstory for this video. For almost 10 years I was a motorcycle cop. Rode BMWs exclusively, although I did some training with the Harley as well. Started on 1100s, 1150s, 1200s when I left. And they're all pretty similar mechanically wise. And one time we were out in the middle of nowhere on a training ride way up in the wilderness. No support, no cars around, no nothing, and one of the bikes just flat out wouldn't start. We ended up determining that it was the side stand switch. Somehow the switch had become faulty. So with one guy standing on a hilltop where the only place we could get cell reception, and him talking to the dealership and then relaying down the hill to the guys at the bike as to which wires to cut and splice together and how to fix this problem so it could at least get us back. We eventually got the bike started and were able to make it home. It was a huge hassle. It could have, if it was a single guy out by himself, it would have been really bad because it would have been stuck, and all because the stupid switch failed on the kickstand. So my bike started acting up a couple days ago. I was downtown. I was in a left-hand turn, just pulling up from a parking spot, and the bike sputtered. Luckily, I was able to pull the clutch in, right the bike, and before it completely lost power to the rear wheel and fell over. It did it again the following day. The two constants I found were that it was hot both days. So there was something in the switch that, you know, the metal wires were expanding or something and shorting out or whatever. So having that first experience in mind, I decided, you know what, I'm going to get rid of that side stand safety switch altogether. I'm not going to get stranded somewhere. I don't want to be in a left-hand or right-hand turn and have the bike shut down on me. That said, you are going to have to decide if this is right for you. I make no claim as to this is good or bad or whatever, only you can decide that. If you're prone to taking off with your kickstand down, not checking it, and potentially falling off the bike, then don't do this mod. Alright? If you think that might be something you're interested in getting rid of the switch or the bypassing the switch, then you know, by all means, hopefully this video will help. And with that, let's get into it and hope this helps you out. As with all my videos, my trusty helper Baxter is here. He likes to work on motorcycles. Well, I think he likes to watch people work on motorcycles. He hasn't worked a day in his life. Right, buddy? Good boy. First thing we need to do, we need to take the foot pegs off here. There's a hex head here, one down here, one down here. It's a number 45. So take all those off, I'll be back to you. Alright, so I've taken these three small ones out, kind of. It takes a T25. Set those there. That one comes out there. The back one back here is back nutted, so don't lose that. Long one goes in top, short one goes in bottom. And this will just pull off. You can see how difficult this would be to do in the field unless you had those torques. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Okay, ignore this for a second. There's three wires, red, a tan or yellowish in the middle, and a white in the rear. You pull this plug out, there's three spades. They plug into 1, 2, and 3 here on the switch. When the kickstand is up, the whatchamacallit is closed. These two wires, the middle and the back one, are closed, and it allows the bike to start. When the kickstand is down, it is open. It does not allow the bike to start when it's in gear. So what did I do? I took the middle and the back, I used a butt connector, and I spliced them together. Now the bike will start with the kickstand down, the bike in gear, the clutch in. All right. Don't believe me? You can see the kickstand down. Keys in, first gear, clutch in. There you go, first gear. Kickstand is down. There goes the rear wheel. It works. Okay, so if it ever breaks on you, that's what you need to fix. Middle wire, rear wire, splice them together, you're on the road. Hardest part is just getting there. If you want to replace, if you want to keep it stock, which I certainly don't fault anybody for that, take this circlip out, unplug it, pull this module out, put a new one in, plug it back in, you're good to go. Now, my kickstand is a little bit different. It's the RTP, the police version kickstand. It takes a lot of abuse. It's just been beefed up a little bit. It might have a heavier spring, I don't know, than the others. I don't know if that's stock or not. But inspect your spring annually. You don't want this thing working itself off or breaking, falling down without you knowing it. It's just the way it is. You got any questions? Subscribe, post a comment in the bottom, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Happy riding.